everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Amy. I am going to paint a pretty purple and white flower using some dots on my glass bottle here. I like to paint on the glass wine bottles. They're so much fun. Great way to get waste from going into the landfill. Use it as part of your home decor. You can put lights in it or just sit it on the shelf as an accent piece. Fun project to do. Gather your friends once you're able to, or if you want to do it via Zoom or however. Just sit down and paint. Be creative, whether it's you're creative or not. Everybody, I think, has a little bit of creativity in them. Doesn't matter if it's stroke work like what I do or however you want to do it, but sit down, create, and it's a great way to relax and help with stress. Alright, so let's get moving here. Today I'm going to be using two number 12 flat brushes and a number 10. These are both plaid one-stroke brushes. I am going to be using two of my Deerfoot Stipplers, number 8, number 10. One of my clay ball making tools that I use for dotting. Great tool. Probably one of my favorites as far as doing large dots. And then a dotting stylus. Paint I'm using Lavender, Moon Yellow, Fresh Foliage, and yes I have white on there, Red Violet, and Thicket. All are folk art products. Mixture of multi-surface and enamels. Alright, so let's get started. What I'm going to do first of all is use my Deerfoot Stipplers to stipple in some centers for my flowers. And I'm basically using these to indicate placement of my design, as well as I tried to do this without stippling a center in, and you'll see I just wasn't as happy with it without having some kind of paint in the center. I used the larger one, of course, for my larger flowers. Used the smaller one for my smaller flowers. And just tapping it in here. Try not to roll on my design, which if you watch me, you know I'm pretty good about getting on my design. Alright, so then I'm going to use one of the larger brushes. I do believe, yes. And I'm going to double load my brush into the lavender and, oh, and I didn't show that, I'm sorry, missing one, Wicker White. Into my Wicker White and just blend them together. And then I'm going to go, and I will be touching my center, and that's fine to do so. And just try to create as crisp of a petal as you can. And then just turn your bottle as you go around. And you can also make your leaves, or your petals I should say, go in different directions. Meaning, like when I'm turning my brush, I can go this way, or I can turn it to go that way. Just kind of shows some movement. And I can put another one in here. You can layer them too if you want. Alright, if you feel the need that you have to go over them again, that you want them to be more opaque, that's fine. Feel free to do so. As you go. Just trying to make this as quick and easy as you can. It's not meant to be a difficult design by any means. Remember, my painting is to encourage people to be creative. My painting is meant to be simple as I can possibly do. As I can possibly make it for people to be encouraged to try it. Bottom line, when you're creating something, if you like it, that's what's most important. Especially if you're not selling it. And if it's are pieces that you're selling, then you might need to be more detailed, a little bit harder patterns or something. I don't know. I think simple's pretty good though. It's almost kind of like doing my sunflowers, but I'm not being, with the centers here, I'm not being real particular because I'm going to do some dotting in the centers. So, and I am using the number 10, the smaller brush to do the little smaller flowers. Alright, so go over here. Now, just keep in mind when you're painting, the more opaque your design is, the durability will be better. And the reason being is that the thicker your paint is put on, that just makes it where it'll stay on better, resist chipping, scratching, that type of thing. Alright, so what I'm doing now, I got the petals painted on, and I'm just going back over with my Deerfoot Stippler and painting over the centers, like so. If you want to leave the centers totally blank when you're doing this process, you can. You don't have to put paint in the centers. Again, when I was doing my sample painting, I just found that I didn't really like the way it looked without doing this. I'm going to make a little change in mine design because I really want to put dots around the edges of the center first. And I did go ahead and hit my design with the heat gun just to get the centers a little drier before I put the main dot in the centers. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use the bigger ball for my centers, for the bigger flowers. And then alright, then I'm going to turn it over to do the smaller ones. And you still might have to play with a little, if you, whatever tools you have to do for dotting, you don't have to have this tool. I just was trying to do a lot of dotted designs at one point and found that I was having such an issue with points, with them being so sharp, that was the best way for me to kind of knock down the real high tip points, because these points can actually be pretty sharp. Plus, I don't want them to bubble. If I do decide to bake this, I'm not going to bake this, but because I reuse my designs. But if I were to bake it, I don't want it to bubble. Alright, so what I'm going to do, and I decided to do this a little differently than my initial painting, is just to put the dots. So sorry. Put the dots around here. Like that. And they don't have to be perfectly in a circle. You can, make them kind of random around the center. My centers are not perfectly perfect circles anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Again, this is just intended to be just a fun little design. Something cute to add to your home decor. Add some bottle lights to them, and what a perfect little addition to your, maybe a bathroom as a night light, or when you have guests over, just to give some warm ambiance in your home. I love them. personally. Again, my preference. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is turn my stylus over and then come more into the center and just randomly dot around the center. On this one I'm not trying to space it in between the greens. I'm just putting it on there. I mean, if you want to shoot for that, that's fine. I'm personally not trying to do that. Just so you know. I mean, you could actually, even with this, the large purple dot in the center, if you want to give it a little bit of drying time and maybe even put another color in the center, you can do that as well. Just see how easy and just relaxing. I mean, just think about it. Put on some cool music and just let your creativity flow. And the fun thing is I watched a neat video this morning that I think I might feed on and share, meaning that it was inspirational to me. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is come in here, start working on my green. I am using the Thicket, the Fresh Foliage, and the Moon Yellow. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just go through, just kind of pretend that I'm adding some stems to these. They can be, it can be where you're actually making it look like you have a stem, or you can just put the leaves around your blooms and you not have a stem at all. I'm acting like I have a stem. I'm going to do a mixture of leaves. I am going to do some wavy ones, which I kind of like to do. And I try not to cut them off too much, but sometimes you have to, which is fine if you're layering. As it actually gives it a little more realistic touch, because when nature, you know, flowers are not just perfectly lined up. They overflow each other, the wind's blowing, or you have a bouquet. They're just going to be kind of intermixed. Do another one. And they don't all have to be this, can be smaller. I decided to use the bigger brush. And I can just make it go like this to come around the flower like they're kind of hooked on the same branch. Or I can just do a separate one, up to me. I can do the easy, just basic one stroke leaves. And they're pretty. Come out here, I can do, there's so many different leaves styles to do. I can do one like that, where I'm kind of doing just a basic, and then I come over it again. Let me clean this up a little bit more. Yeah, that's the way my brush is. And I can pull a little stem through it. And then just maybe stick in here, just some basics. And you can rotate them a little bit too, where like I have the darker at the top, I can come in here with the light at the top and just give it a different, adds a little more interest when you do that. Like that. Again, if you want it to be more opaque, go over it. And go like that. If you want to throw another wiggly leaf in here, and you can have the dark on both sides. See, I lifted this paint up a little bit. That happens too, so you have to be careful when you're painting on glass, because when you do that, you're actually lifting the paint up from underneath, So you might have to tap on it just to get it to not pull up. To be careful. Drying time can help with that if you are concerned, or you can just paint over it, or like I said, let it dry a little bit longer. Up to you. But just make sure when you're painting on glass, it's very, very, very important to clean your glass, soap and water, and then do the rubbing alcohol over it so you get all of the oils and anything like that that you might have on your glass. You get that off of it before you paint. You just want good adhesion for the paint so that your hard work doesn't come off easily. If you're going to bake this, make sure you put it in a cold oven. You preheat the oven to 350 with the glass inside. You don't put the glass in after you preheat. You use that time for the glassware to get adjusted to the heat change. Change in temperature quickly is what will cause your glass to break. And almost finished, guys. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to come over and visit my videos. I have a lot of them on here, so feel free to visit some other ones while you're here. Okay, then you can also do like little stems like this, and then just do some quick little pulls just to make like little filler, I don't want to say leaves, but filler branches. I guess would be the best way to describe it. I put my paint in the wrong direction. Apologize for my furnace starting up. Almost got through this without it. And now I'm going to go like this, like that, pull, pull, pull. And I can come back in here if I want some of the lighter color to show. Just to keep adding, and just stand back and take a look, see where you might want to add some more, because these kind of just give you, again, just some filler, something besides regular leaves, because I love my regular leaves. I truly, truly do. And see how that makes it pop a little bit more when you put the lighter color in a mix, especially on a darker bottle like what I'm doing. Definitely can help with that. And then I'm just going to pull up, so you're just kind of overlapping, and that's fine. The thicker it is, the better off you're going to be. Alright, we're going to stop for now. Hope you like this video. If you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And before you leave, if you would please share this on your social network with your family and friends just by hitting that share button underneath your video, and it'll be good to go. Alright, any questions, comments, place them down below. Until the next time, you have a good one.